Long before CGI and digital wizardry, Hollywood's grandest spectacle was born in the desert sands of 1955. Cecil B. DeMille, already a titan of cinema at 73, stood atop a 40-meter iron ladder in the blistering Nevada sun. With thousands of extras in scarlet and gold, glaring heat lamps turned the dunes into molten glass. And there, with a megaphone clenched in one hand, he orchestrated what would become one of the most iconic films ever, The Ten Commandments. Miraculously, 2 days before the finale, DeMille's heart betrayed him. Collapsing mid-direct, he was rushed to a hospital where doctors warned, "Stop now or you will die." But DeMille only grinned in that signature mustache and vowed to finish what he started. Just 48 hours later, he climbed back up, directing this biblical saga as though defying death itself. Yet the director's near-fatal fall was only the beginning of the wild tales behind those epic scenes. When the angel of death descended upon Egypt, an eerie emerald mist slithered over the palace floor. Audiences shivered, hearts beating fast. Few knew that hidden in that green haze was a real human skull, so faint it couldn't be pointed out, but our minds registered it, conjuring pure terror from the subconscious. Not long after, the set briefly became a snake pit of panic. DeMille insisted that Moses' staff transform into a genuine king cobra. First, the reptile obeyed, turning regal as it glided across the sand. But then it broke free, slithering under cameras, racing through cables, sending extras and crew into a frenzied stampede. Took nearly an hour to capture the fugitive snake, and from that moment on, no one dared challenge real venom again. Next came the hailstorm plague. On screen, furious stones pelted Pharaoh's palace in glorious technicolor. In reality, it was painted popcorn. Dropped from above under colored lights, the kernels fell soft enough to protect actors and reusable enough to sweep back into storage, cinema's most creative recycling trick. Perhaps the greatest illusion was the parting of the Red Sea. Forget computers, this was pure analog magic. 2 towering tanks filled with water and a hefty dose of gelatin were filmed flooding in reverse, creating walls of water that stood miraculously still for a few heart-pounding seconds. All that spectacle took 6 months of testing for less than 10 minutes on film. At roughly this point in our journey, let me ask you, which behind-the-scenes secret amazes you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think. Audiences also missed a heartbreaking casting twist. A young Audrey Hepburn, fresh and radiant, auditioned for Princess Nefertiti. But in DeMille's private notes, he crossed her name off for one cold reason. Her figure was too delicate to fill the weighty pearl-encrusted costume. Instead, Anne Baxter took the crown, a reminder that Hollywood's decisions often hinge on the subtlest details. Rolling out giant stone tablets in parks and plazas, Paramount embarked on a promotional crusade. Over 4,000 monuments carved with the Ten Commandments dotted America's public spaces. What seemed a pious tribute sparked a full-blown Supreme Court case in 2005, with justices eventually ruling the tablets served cultural, not purely religious purposes. A marketing stunt turned constitutional milestone. And in a twist few expect, a group of young California headbangers stumbled upon the film on VHS in 1983. As the Death Angel scene crawled across their screen, bassist Cliff Burton blurted, "Man, it's like creeping death." That offhand remark became the title and inspiration for Metallica's thunderous 1984 anthem, proof that a 1956 epic could seed a thrash metal classic. The film's sensual highlight also stirred controversy. Anne Baxter's sultry Nefertiti, with her piercing gaze and scarlet lips, offended conservative religious groups who claimed she turned sacred scripture into cheap titillation. The boycott cries only amplified the film's fame, cementing the princess as both muse and lightning rod. One plague never made it into the final cut: the frogs. DeMille unleashed hundreds of hopping amphibians to convulse the palace. But on screen, their antics provoked laughter rather than dread. Mortified, the director ordered the entire amphibian spectacle destroyed, consigning the 9th plague to cinematic oblivion. Yet strange miracles abounded. Charlton Heston's robe, bold red, black, and white stripes, was chosen simply to pop in Technicolor. Decades later, scholars realized the pattern matched descriptions of the Levite priest's ceremonial garb. No art director knew. It was a coincidental anachronism that lent Heston uncanny authenticity. Posing him as Pharaoh Ramesses, Yul Brynner felt dwarfed by Heston's towering presence. To assert regal authority, Brynner hit the gym with a silent ferocity, weightlifting, pull-ups, sculpting every muscle until he matched the heroic ideal. On screen, that physique spoke volumes. When filming wrapped, many Egyptian-style goblets, jars, and ornate props were stashed in Paramount's vault. Decades later, they resurfaced on Star Trek: The Next Generation, spaceship crews clinking the same vessels first seen in biblical Egypt. A surreal bridge across centuries and galaxies. Perhaps the subtlest touch came from an unexpected source: Disney animators. Invited in secret, they layered hand-drawn effects onto DeMille's live-action scenes, giving God's fiery pillar and the burning bush a painterly magic no one credited at the time. Life on set wasn't all divine spectacle. During the Golden Calf Festival, an extra quipped over the mic, "When will that filthy bald old man let us break for lunch?" Crowd froze, awaiting DeMille's wrath. Instead, he boomed, "Lunch!" The set erupted in laughter, proof that even the most austere director had a sense of humor. One of the film's most tender moments hid a personal secret. Baby Moses drifting down the Nile was played by Charlton Heston's own 3-month-old son, Fraser. On each take, Heston cradled his child, blending myth and flesh into a moment of genuine paternal love. Yet capturing sheer revelry came at a cost. The golden calf scenes, 3 weeks of non-stop dancing under searing lights, pushed extras to their limits. Exhaustion bred bitter jokes and whispered curses, even as cameras caught only ecstatic frenzy. Amid the desert heat, some crew claimed they glimpsed a white-robed figure, silent, ghost-like, vanishing before any could approach. Was it a specter of ancient Egypt or a tired extra in a distant costume? No one knows, but the memory endures. Perhaps the boldest directorial gamble was in the voice of God. In The Burning Bush, the booming, echoing timbre you hear wasn't an anonymous actor at all. It was Charlton Heston, his voice pitched low and drenched in reverb. Moses himself became both questioner and answer, human and divine, in a single haunting line. Finally, amid the cacophony of the golden calf, a young musician sat almost unseen, drumming to DeMille's orchestral frenzy. No credit marked his name, but that anonymous drummer was Herb Alpert, who would soon redefine American music with the Tijuana Brass and multiple Grammys to his name. From near-death heroics on a ladder and clandestine skulls and fog to cinematic miracles spun from silicone and popcorn, the Ten Commandments remains a towering testament to old-school ingenuity. Every frame whispers of ambition and artistry, of accidents turned legend, and of secrets that still send chills down our spines more than 6 decades later.